Hi, Karen.
Hi, Nico.
For those of you don't know Karen is a member of the 10 o'clock, and she's also leads worship there, and she works with us on staff as a ministry administrator. And Karen, you've always had a passion to help out disabled people. What moved you to start working or helping out in that way?
Well, I've had rheumatoid arthritis for over 30 years now, so life's been a bit up and down for me, and I've had sort of hard times and good times. So about 18 years ago, I heard of the charity called Through the Roof, and they're a disability charity. So I wanted to give back something because I realised just how much the UK has for disabled people. And in Africa, they don't have hardly anything. So I wanted to give something back. But Through the Roof also really advocates for disabled people and tries to help churches to, be better at understanding. So I guess my motivation really was because I have so much as a disabled person. I wanted to sort of, help others really. That's where it came from.
Yeah, I think Through the Roof, the name is just the best name in the world. I think it's an amazing name for a charity. And maybe how can we as a church or members of a church as a congregations, which we sometimes aren't aware of how we can help disabled people, or what are the things we might miss out on. So from your experience, how can we be more welcoming in that way?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say our church actually is doing a great job. There's lots of brilliant things going on for all different peoples with disabilities across everybody really. So that's really great. I think one thing is not to maybe always think of helping disabled people, but to involve them, in the ministries of the church, which they are sometimes, but that would really, I guess, enrich the church because disabled people have so much to give. I don't know, as in I'm in the worship team, it would be great to see more people with disabilities in the worship team preaching even, just occasional preaching. Pastoral work, disabled people can give so much. I think it's not just all about helping. There are things, obviously, physical access is a really important thing. And we're doing okay, but we're not perfect, so we can sort of carry on doing that. And it's I suppose being aware, what people, and listening to disabled people, actually spending time with them, and understanding where they're coming from, I suppose. That's something.
Thank you. And I was really moved by the workshop which we were both part of the other day with Through the Roof. And one of the things that I hadn't really thought about was that actually disabled people in many ways have already lived lockdown, and sometimes really long lockdowns, or a lot of limiting in the activities they can do. And part of hearing all these stories was actually that you have a special empathy and a special sense of hope because you've been through this journey. So how can disabled people in this COVID time have a voice that actually is really important for us to hear?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I must say, when lockdown happened, at first I wasn't actually that worried about it because I thought, well, I've been here before, I've been sort of locked down at home and it'll be okay. It's been, different. Some things have been hard and some things haven't been so hard. But I think we're in a unique position, as I say, because we have been there before. But also realising that for people who are going through it for the first time, it's like we did maybe as a disabled person when we, not everyone is born with a disability, things sometimes come later. But realising for the first time is really hard. But if you've been used to it, as I say, it's not so hard. I think, it's not been all plain sailing. But we're on a level playing field. That's the other thing. Everyone's going through it together. And I think in some ways, not that you want people to go through things like this, but it's been as if everyone's the same now. We're not sort of segregated into disabled people and able-bodied people. We're all going through it together. So actually that sort of helps. And also the accessibility of things, particularly things like church now, because we can't go there. And we of course miss going to our services and meeting people. But there's so many opportunities that we've got online that are really good for disabled people, actually. And I think helping people to understand when we do go back, that actually that's been a really good thing, and maybe these things can carry on. So I mean, I know it's a lot of hard work and everything, but it's been great to be involved so much actually with all the things that are going on in church, if you can't get there. I remember Paul, well, he's my husband, as some people know, he's a sound guy. And when I've been stuck at home before, he's been able to bring the services home on a memory stick, and I've been able to listen to them, which has been wonderful. But now, of course, we all have our wonderful online services. Not that everybody gets on with Zooms and things, but, you know, for a lot of us, I think as disabled people, that's been a good thing. So I hope that carries on, really. I think it's a bit like stages of bereavement somehow when you're going through things like this, because, you know, you start off feeling different ways, and as the time goes on, thinking about connecting with God, I think it takes a while to get there sometimes, but there's some amazing things. You realise that church is a community, it's not just the building. And I know it's been said many times before, but it's really proving it this way, that we're still continuing to be a wonderful church, and that includes all people, all disabilities. And the other thing is, I'm loving seeing people experiencing the countryside, and that's something that I think a lot of disabled people are able to do sometimes, even if they can't get out, is to realise how wonderful God's creation is. Just a little story of when I was very ill, and Paul bought me a little snowdrop in to bring into the house, and I just, you know, thought it was absolutely amazing. As I say, I just think it's wonderful to see other people experiencing those same things. So in some ways, I know it's hard when you're a disabled person. I'm only speaking for myself here, but it is so wonderful that other people are experiencing these things of God that maybe they haven't had time to before because of being too busy. And you were talking about, yes, sorry, if there's anything else you want me to sort of answer on that.
No, that's great. And actually, I think that the fact that you've been on a similar journey that people are going through now means that you can have that empathy and also bring that hope and that faith in the middle of what is really troubled times, to say, look, I've been on a journey which is actually probably much harder than what we're going through now, and here I am, I'm still worshiping God, I'm still smiling and still happy. So I think that's really an encouragement and a source of hope for all of us. So thanks for sharing, Karen. It's been great.
Thank you for asking me, Nico.